Thank you, sir. I think it's nice to be back to campus. I think nothing has changed. It's same study group where two of the people have done most of the work, and I am just contributing 2% from my side, right? So, jokes apart, I think let me just spend half a minute in giving a little background about myself, because that will set a context about the kind of products that we make. So, I'm an engineer by degree, post which work with Reliance Power in their instrumentation division, post which I came to IIMA Entrepreneurship, Section B, DOM 6, 9, I don't think so they exist anymore. Did my summers in an investment banking division. In the second year, wanted to start something of my own. I had the idea of Zouk at that time itself. But given I belong to service background, my parents were very clear कि IIMA करने के बाद bag नहीं बेचना है. So in fact, I got IIM Maverick scholarship as well, and Madan sir is my sponsor. So thank you CIE and Madan sir for that. I didn't take it at that point of time, worked with a healthcare startup, and after a year realized कि यार this is not my calling. I want to go back and start Zouk. So what I'm trying to tell you here is this: I'm no designer. I have no background in the categories that we operate in. We never understood the environment which these particular products are also made. But we were very clear that we want to build a brand for today's India based on a very, very clear customer inciting approach. And I'll talk about it more and more, where I'll be explaining about how to build a product in a hyper-competitive market. I think the first and the foremost thing which is required is you need to pick a niche. It is very counterintuitive, and people say big market and everything. I think eventually the market, you can cater to a larger market, but when you get into a competitive space, you need to pick a niche. And what a niche helps you do is just that you problem solves very better. So you understand your customer like much in detail. You know कि यार ये exactly ये problem है, and then you go deeper into solving for that customer. So in our case, 6 years back when I started, we picked up a niche saying that we will build a bag for a working woman in India. It is as niche it can get, right? Nobody was catering to that particular market. We went very deep, we did a lot of talk with our customers, and then came with a product that we finally have, right? But it's very important that you build for the niche. And if you solve very well for them, they'll become your loyal customers, and as and when you grow, and as and when you add more and more category, they will keep on growing with you, and you'll have a very solid word of mouth, extremely important for a consumer brand. So my first thing would be pick a niche. Once you have picked the niche, you need to make a 10x better product. So if you say that ki yaar, I want to make a legging with pockets, it's not enough because nobody else is making. You need to make a legging with a pocket, with the material which is sweat absorbent, which doesn't have bubbles, which is, all weather, doesn't spill, or n number of other things. So you understand what I'm trying to do here, right? You cannot build, and it's said in tech a lot, that build a product and not a feature, right? So your product needs to be 10x better than the market, and then only you have a right to exist in that particular market, and more so over in a competitive space. So for us, if we say that ki theek hai, I will in a bag just add a laptop compartment or 2 more pockets or a water bottle, is not good enough, right? You need to holistically and like we do a very detailed R&D, and we will add like 10 features on the whole product side. Like if I say that I will put Indian prints on the bags, but they'll be same color palette, same motive as it was before. No, we do a lot of R&D around kya exact color palette, what motives, what works, what doesn't work, and we hope we have built a product which is distinctly very different from what is there in the market. So pick a niche, build a 10x better product for that particular niche, and which brings me to my next point, which is once you have built a 10x better product, fortunately or unfortunately, you cannot command a 10x better price. India is a market which asks or demands for a great product at value pricing. So mota moti 10-15% ऊपर you can price, but anything beyond that just removes you for the whole TG that you are targeting, right? So it's extremely important, and you might say that yaar itna effort mara, itna R&D kiya, itna value add kiya, right? And then you are saying 10-15% upar hi jayega, right? So you can price it higher, it's your product at the end of the day. But what you are doing at that point of time is that you are giving a lot of other players to come in between and make a similar product at a cheaper price. You cannot go lesser once you have established your price point, because that is how the brand is also defined. So people will be like, hey, yaar, why are they discounting? Maybe the product is not good, right? So pricing is super important in a competitive market, and it needs to be aptly priced. So niche, 10x better product, price it aptly. You have all of this, you're like, what next, right? So for consumer brands, great and iconic consumer brands are built on two things, and it's not either or. They are built on great product and a great brand. And why I am talking about it here is this, because what is branding? Branding at the end of the day is a promise that this is what my product is going to do, this is what my company does. So in our case, we are a proudly Indian, 100% vegan brand. This is what my communication talks about, this is what my marketing talks about, everybody talks about. The customer is sold, he's like, hey, I am also feeling Indian, let me buy a bag. The bag comes to their place. And when they open that package and then they don't feel the same promise as the promise that you have been doing on your marketing, you have lost there, right? So your product, and if you have a great product which has a 10x differentiation, you have priced it aptly, and given you have 10x better product and there is a certain differentiation, the same communication will go to your branding, and that branding will be very clear. It will have a pole position. Like we used to say proudly Indian 5 years back, when in our industry it was all about flaunting Western bags, right? So we took a very strong position, and the tides have changed drastically now, right? But it comes from your product, right? So so have a very clear communication, and you need to build a great brand along with the great product. And the brand comes from the product, and hence. So I think largely these are the four things that you need to build a product in a competitive space to a certain scale. Once that is done, I think if you want your company to survive generation, thrive, become an iconic brand, I think there is only one thing as a founders you can do: keep the innovation alive. And I am not talking about, because generally lifestyle brands are considered कि अच्छा trends and seasons के बारे में बात हो रही है. No. Innovation for us is being closer to our customer as much as possible. I have a 12-member R&D team, the largest in India for the bags company. Nobody else talks to customers so much as we do, right? And that's what keeps us relevant. That's what keeps the bags that we have made 5 years back also relevant, because we have been keeping chota changes, and still we are extending the life of that bag as well, right? So have innovation across the board, be it the materials that you use, the processes you will set, everything that you do, right? Because that will also help you better your price, better your brand, and better your product at the end of the day. And I think that's how iconic brands are built, and that is what we are trying to do at Zouk.